Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Rangers Review weekend briefing. A bit of an extra show for you ahead of tomorrow's game against Kilmarnock at Ibrox. Danny Rohl's first at home game in charge of Rangers as they return to Premiership action after the humiliating defeat to Brann in Bergen on Thursday night. To discuss what we expect on Sunday in terms of team selection, how it may unfold, Blair joins me. How goes it, Blair?
Yep, never enough talking about Rangers these days, Derek. I think it's just every other day there is more to discuss with this club at the minute. So, yeah, as you said, Danny Rohl's first league game in charge of Rangers, not the start he would have wanted by any stretch of the imagination. That 3-0 loss on Thursday night to SK Brann. I know we were speaking before it, saying that we would take a draw with a little bit something to hang on to, with the outline of a shape, the outline of a plan. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we didn't really see any of that the other night. We didn't see any of what Danny Rohl wants to do with this squad, and I don't think any of this is on the manager. By the way, I think he was one of the few people from the other night that actually came out with any sort of credit the way he conducted himself, the way he went about it. So I think he has been bought into by the fans. The fans understand that he is essentially operating with one hand tied behind his back at the minutes. But he definitely needs to get a league win on the board as soon as possible, and he'll be hoping to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, he will be. And just incidentally, folks, you can hear from Danny Rohl. This is an embargoed presser from him. You can find on the YouTube channel at around 7 p.m. this evening. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Incidentally, before Rangers play on Sunday, there are a number of fixtures taking place in the Premiership later on this afternoon. Dundee United against St Mirren, Falkirk, Dundee, and Livingston against Motherwell. I was doing a bit of adding up, if you like, and permutations where Rangers could be in the table before they take on Kilmarnock. They're currently sixth. Kilmarnock are in fifth position, a point ahead of Rangers, who are situated on 9 points with one win from their opening 8 games, a -1 goal difference. And if results go pretty much against Rangers on Saturday, then they could find themselves 10th before they take on Stuart Kettlewell's team. So it sort of tells you the state of affairs at this moment in time. Rangers, if they do beat Kilmarnock, an opportunity to leapfrog them, I guess. They are currently looking at the table just now. Hibs are in third position on 11 points, which is just 2 points ahead of Rangers. And in the top two, Celtic on 17, Hearts on 22. A huge game taking place between Hearts and Celtic this weekend as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. But we're here to talk about Rangers, of course, and we very much hope that Danny Rohl can get his first points on the board as Rangers boss. It was a draw last time out when Stevie Smith took charge last weekend. It's a huge week for Rangers with Killie and then Hibs in midweek, followed by the Scottish League Cup semi-final against Celtic at Hampden a week tomorrow. So, huge week for Rangers. And they go into it off, I was going to say, a run of form that's poor to say the least, but an entire season, even the pre-season, which has been nothing short of disastrous. So I said it on the show yesterday, I just can't see Rangers winning any of these games, I've got to say. Even Kilmarnock will come to Ibrox. I think, by my reckoning, they're unbeaten away from home this season. They started off reasonably well, 2 wins and 4 draws from their opening 8 games. They're beaten by Hearts last time out convincingly. Hearts in good shape at this moment in time. And their last defeat, aside from that, was when they were robbed at Rugby Park with that ridiculous penalty that was awarded to Celtic, who won in injury time at Rugby Park in that game. They really should have taken a point from that. But there will be no mugs, Blair, heading into this game. They'll have seen teams coming to Ibrox and picking up points. And as James Tavernier mentioned yesterday, they're too easy to play against at this point in time, Rangers. I think they'll score tomorrow. Rangers are going to have to score at least 2 to get anything.
Oh, absolutely. I think I said it on the show yesterday. I had a lot of encounters with Stuart Kettlewell last season when he was Motherwell
Yeah,
manager, and he's a very savvy operator. He's a man who knows Scottish football inside out. He's a man who knows this league inside out. He's got a very good track record of bringing in young players and giving them opportunities in the first team. And they, like so many before them this season, will come to Ibrox well drilled. They'll come to Ibrox with a plan, and let's be honest, they'll come to Ibrox fancying themselves to get something, because that seems to be the way that every single team in the Scottish Premiership is approaching it right now. There's no fear coming to play Rangers anymore at the minute. There's no hesitation. Teams are not coming thinking we're going to get beat today. They're absolutely coming home or away, to be honest. They're taking on Rangers
yeah,
thinking they're going to get something out of it. And I've lost count of the amount of managers, opposition managers this season that I've spoke to after Rangers games, and they've said we were disappointed not to get a win today. We thought we could have got more today, and that is incredibly damning when it gets to that stage where you've got managers of teams, with respect, who Rangers should be beating in terms of the budget and how far ahead they are on and off the park, but they're just not at the races at all so far this season. Kilmarnock also made a signing yesterday. They signed Tyrese John Jules, who is a young
yeah.
striker from Arsenal, a really promising young player. So they also have David Watson in their ranks. He's obviously a player that we spoke about on this podcast before that I would love to see playing for Rangers at one stage. I think he's a really promising player in the Scottish Premiership, and he is kind of the heartbeat of that team. And it was a point that I made yesterday as well. It's a point that Connor Barron touched upon. You can go and watch that press conference from the other day after the Brand game. He says Rangers just need to do the basics better every day. Just have to get back to doing the basics. And Kilmarnock are a team that do the basics really well. And it just seems that Rangers, they just can't even do the simple things well at the minute, which is always a concern when you're going in to play these teams who you know are going to be well coached and are going to be extremely organised.
Yeah, the lad John Jules, it's a name I recognise. I'm sure I've covered a game. He was at Crawley last season.
Yes.
I think I've seen him in action for Crawley or somewhere else, and he was decent enough at the lower level in English football. So I think he could do a job for Kelly. I'd imagine he'll feature at some point in the game at Ibrox. But yeah, I think they'll be well organised. Kilmarnock. That being said, Rangers beat them, I think, the last home game last season 6-0. But let's be honest, this is a very different and poorer Rangers side than what it was last season, which is some going. But there you go. So we go to team selection now. It will be intriguing to see what Danny Rohl does. I think he will have learned a lot from what he witnessed on Thursday evening. I think he has to make some bold selection calls with his team. There was nowhere near enough effort or determination or desire in that team on Thursday. So I would like to see a number of changes. Now, we're going to flash up how, if we were in Danny Rohl's shoes, what team that we would select. Whether he goes with either of these, I would be amazed, I've got to say. Tend not to get team selections bang on. But we'll start with yours, Blair, because you've went with a little bit of a change in shape. So this is your lineup. You've gone for a 3 at the back, 4 across the middle, and 3 up top. Explain your thinking behind this.
Okay, now I know this is a little bit out there, and I'll no doubt take a fair bit of stick in the comments for a few of these choices. But I think if you look at that Brand game the other night, and really more broadly across the entire season, the defence looks so devoid of confidence, and it looks so disorganised that I would not be surprised if Danny Rowe dropped another player in there and just reinforce the numbers, because how many times have you seen it in our lifetimes watching football? When you're not confident in the ability or the ability at the moment of your centre halves, you add in another one and you put 3 at the back. And you just give that extra body in there just to add an extra voice, a little bit extra communication, because it just seems like every time Rangers play just now, they're conceding a goal where one of the defenders is left one of the defenders is left exposed, and there seems to be an all manner of space at the back. So I'm aware it does look a little bit defensive if you look at it as a 5 at the back, but I've got it more set up here as a sort of 3-4-3. I think that
Mm.
Cornelius in at that sort of left centre back, left back position alongside Jigan Suter, it allows Suter to play on his favoured right hand side. And Also, you're getting Cornelius in on the left, and you're giving Nasser Giga that bit of support round about him that I think he needs at this moment in time. Because I think playing as a back two, I think he looks really exposed, and I think he's been shown up in especially that brand game where he didn't look too clever at all. I think you put James Tavernier and Jaden Magoma a little bit further up the park. I think you then start to get the best out of them in their sort of attacking sense. I know we've spoken about it a long time talking about putting James Tavernier further up the park as part of a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2. But I think that they will be able to drop in and help that into a 5 if confidence starts getting a little bit shaky. And also you get to see the best of the attacking sense of Migoma, who I think does look good going forward. I think he definitely has a lot of pace about him. He looks as though he knows how to deliver a ball, and it takes the pressure off him a little bit in terms of just solidly defending. I think Tello Asgard, as good as his goal was against Dundee United, he was poor the other night against Brann. He really didn't get on the ball. He didn't manage to make anything happen. And when that is your main creative outlet, I think that's a bit of something to be concerned by. So I think Lyle Cameron comes back into the side. I think he offers a bit of dynamism. I think he offers a positivity going forward. And I think he's made for a game like this. Nico Raskin keeps his place, obviously, and I know there is a lot of clamour for Finlay Curtis, and I understand why. I do. I understand why a lot of people want to see Finlay Curtis in the team. I don't think Danny Rohl would throw him in straight away. I think you're more likely to see him off the bench. I think he will make a change to that front line. I think it's probably going more likely to be Mikey Moore to come in. He'll stick with Gassama because I think he's got that previous relationship with him, and I think he's going to try and nurture Gassama back to the player that he was at Sheffield Wednesday. And I think we have to see Bojan Majovski come in for Chermiti after the big centre forward performance the other night.
Yeah, he's got the nod, Miovski, in the domestic matters, so I expect to see that as well. Interesting, you've went with the 3 there. Johnny also last night, you said that he would put a back 3 in there for Rangers. I just get concerns about the defence at this moment in time. I don't know what Danny Rohl does to try and stem the flow and the tide of goals being scored against Rangers just now. He has to get to January and reinforcements have to be brought in. This is my team, incidentally, just to show you the variation. A few surprises, you could say, in my lineup. I've just stuck with it, the back 4. Cornelius coming back in on that left side. Incidentally, I would be dropping Suter if there was anybody able to come in. I don't think Nasser Giga has shown that he's capable of replacing Suter at this point, and there's no one else off the top of my head that you would thrust in there. Dujon Sterling still recovering from injury. I'd bring Clinton Enciala back in from the cold. No idea how capable he would be to start a game at this point in time, but just slightly encouraged by seeing him back in the training videos. No idea why he was frozen out by Russell Martin at that point in time in the summer. Never even got a look in. I'd be tempted to start him, either left back or left centre back, and Cornelius in there as well. My midfield trio would be Raskin, even though he himself never had a good game the other night, and he's been off the boil for Rangers of late. I'd be bringing back Lyle Cameron and Connor Barron, as I said on the show yesterday. I think these 2 lads will provide you with energy and endeavour, which it should be should be expected from every single Rangers player, but unfortunately that wasn't the case on Thursday. But I think that is an engine room with plenty of legs in there. And the forward line, I have opted, if I was in charge, for Finlay Curtis. I just want to see him given a proper crack at things. I think over if it's him or Mikey Moore, I take Finlay Curtis over him all day long at this point in time. I know that Moore set up the Tav goal last weekend, but I've just not seen enough from him to merit a start, in my opinion. Gassama, I agree with you. I think Danny Rohl will get the best out of him, hopefully, fingers crossed. And up top, it should be Miovski or Danilo from here on in for me. Chermiti needs to... I don't even know what you do with Chermiti at this point in time. I said it before. I think I would be tempted to send him out on loan to the lower leagues, which would be a ballsy move and an unexpected one. I can't see Rangers doing that, to be honest. But yeah, Miovski leads the line, and that is a team I would go for. Do you think we'll see Enciala at the weekend, Blair?
I would be surprised if he's in from the start, Derek. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I do think it's promising that he is back in and around the place.
Mm.
Why Russell Martin didn't fancy him, as anyone's guess. I thought he looked all right the back end of last season when he came in. I
Yep.
thought he looked as though he was fairly composed. I know he did have a few moments where it didn't go well for him, and I know Barry Ferguson spoke about it, especially at Rugby Park, where he was just having one of those nights. But he's also a young player, and that's going to happen, and it's all part of the development process. And I think he's a good option to have, and I think he definitely does look a lot more solid than a lot of the options we've had so far this season. It's interesting that Clinton Ciala is already back above Emmanuel Fernandez in a lot of people's minds in this pecking order. I
Mm.
don't think Fernandez even comes into people's thinking when it comes to putting in another centre back. I know you were talking about John Souttar there. You would drop him if there's anyone else. There's a £3 million centre back sitting on the bench, but
Yeah.
no one's really clamouring for him to get back in the side. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Clinton Ciala and Emmanuel Fernandez at that
Mm.
over the next few months. I think, yeah, we definitely agreed that Lyle Cameron has to be back in the team. I
Yep.
think he adds an energy into that midfield that has been sorely missing in the last few weeks, and I think he just gets the ball, picks it up, and goes forward with it, which I think is again really really badly missed. And I completely understand your point about Finlay Curtis. I completely understand why there is so much noise in and around the stadium and so much noise in and around the fans to want him in the side. He is one of Rangers' own academy players. There's always a clamour for the club to promote their own youth, and I think that is maybe where a lot of the
Mm.
friction to Mikey Mouras came from. So I would of course be more than happy if he was to start the game as well. But I just think that Danny Rohl is a shrewd tactician, and I think that's what he has picked up from a lot of his coaching experience. And I think that all
Mm.
season we've seen this back four, and it's not worked, and it's not working, and the players that we've got just
Yeah.
aren't comfortable in that situation. So it just wouldn't surprise me if he just tries to change the shape a little bit and try and just make the players feel a bit more comfortable, so he can maybe try and get a tune out of them.
Yeah. Again, it's asking a lot to see massive alterations to the team and playing style ahead of Sunday, because the players flew back, of course, late on Thursday evening. You'd imagine Friday was just a recovery day. They'd be training today, you'd imagine. You will try and get instructions onto the players, and then Sunday, of course, it is game day. So not much time, even over the course of this week, to really get the team up to a place where he would like them to be. So it'll be intriguing to see what he can do in the little short space of time that he has with the players. Interestingly, Stuart Kettlewell, in his press conference ahead of the game, speaking about, he was asked about the James Tavernier interview in the mix zone. When he called the performance disgraceful against Brann, he says, I think their own captain's entitled to that. When you've done what he's done at the football club and you've been there as long as he has been. I'm a massive fan of James Tavernier. I have been for many, many years. So I always show the utmost respect. He's entitled to speak that way, and he's entitled to say the words that he did. I'm not, because I've not played or coached or managed for Rangers. So again, I always talk about walking in the shoes. You understand the standard expected. So from that point of view, I'll analyse the performance and how they played, but I'll not pass comment about what I thought about it, or starting to give clear description of what other people may or may not think. I get this narrative at the minute that everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. People will be talking about the result not being good enough last night. But again, when you start to look at it closely, there are a lot of good players in that Rangers squad. There's been heavy investment to make sure they bring in what they feel are top players and guys that can really flourish at the football club. So I suppose from my side, I get and acknowledge that it's not been the starting performances that Rangers supporter, staff or players would be expecting, but I'm also the guy that really expects the best version of them on Sunday. So there you go. He also said, if you're going to go there imagining something different, you're very, very naive. And sometimes I think that's where you get a smack in the face. So that is what Stuart Kettlewell had to say ahead of the game. How do you see it going, Blair? It'd be intriguing to see sort of attendance-wise what we're getting, whether there'll be more banners, I'd imagine, aimed at the performances of Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell in their jobs. Not sure what to expect on Sunday. How do you see it going? And do you think Danny Rohl will pick up a positive result?
We just touch on Stuart Kettlewell's comments there. I think that's the sort of party line for any opposition manager coming to
Yeah,
Ibrox, because there is always the tendency and there is always the possibility that it just clicks for Rangers and they dish out a 4-0. There is always the back of their mind that could happen. So I don't think that any opposition manager will come and publicly be confident about getting something. But behind closed doors, every single manager in this league knows the foibles at Rangers right now, and they know that this is the best time, the best chance they're going to have to come away with a positive result playing Rangers. I think if you're getting Rangers right now, you're getting them at the best possible time, because they
yeah,
really are at the lowest point of this wave, and you can only imagine that it's got to pick up at some point. So I get what he's saying. I think my experience, I always find that a lot of people inside football definitely do think that James Tavernier is a really good player. They respect what he's done in the game. They respect what he's contributed to Rangers, especially in terms of goals. And he's obviously lifted a league title. He's lifted the domestic cups, and he's taken the Rangers to a European final. So I think a lot of people in the game are definitely not quite as critical as a lot of people on the outside are. The interesting
mm,
reaction to that James Tavernier interview on social media the last few days, a lot of people were very positive, saying that it's really good and refreshing to see the captain come out and be so emotional, because you never really see that from Tavernier. You never really see him breaking that sort of barrier. He's always very composed.
yeah,
He's always very media savvy, but occasionally he just that breaks through a little bit, and you can see that anger really emanating from him. But other people are saying that he is he's equally as culpable as anyone else, and they don't really want to hear from anything right now. And I think that anger is still there. And then going on to Sunday, I definitely believe that that anger will still be in the stands. Not aimed at Danny Rohl, I must say. I
no,
would expect to see widespread support for Danny Rohl
yeah,
after the way he's conducted himself since he got the Rangers job, the way he spoke to the fans over in Norway. I think he's earning a lot of respect from the Rangers fans, even at this early stage of his Rangers tenure. Wouldn't be surprised to see more of the sort of protest towards Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart. I don't think they're going away anytime soon. I don't think the fans' discontent is going away anytime soon. But as I keep saying, if Rangers just manage to get some wins, then it might just calm everything down a little bit. It might
yeah,
just cool the temperature, and it might just ease the tension around the place, because it's a huge week coming up, Derek. Make no mistake about it. You've got Kilmarnock on Sunday, and then you've got Hibs away during the week, which is not going to be an easy game either. Easter Road is a tough place to go to at the best of times, especially the way Rangers are playing just now. And then at
mm,
the end of this week, you've got that game against Celtic in the League Cup, which is it's not going to say it's season defining, but it's certainly up there, because if Rangers get a positive result in that game, all of a sudden, for as bad as it's been, you've then got a cup final to look forward to this side of
yep,
Christmas.
yep,
But if Rangers don't win at Hampden and they're knocked out at the semi-final stage, then all of a sudden you're looking at the League Cup's to gone, the Europa League is probably gone. I know that
league's
most
gone.
people have written off the league at this point, and you've
Yeah,
only really got the Scottish Cup left to play for, and it gets to the point where we are once again at a stage where you're 2 months ahead of Christmas, and people are starting to think about next season already.
yeah, it's dire. Let's hope we can get off to a flyer tomorrow in terms of the league. Um, I I think it's going to be a 1-0 draw, I've got to say. I would love to be proven wrong and Rangers win that game, but there's nothing that I've seen from this squad, this group of players, that gives me the belief that they can go out there and win this game. But there you go, Rangers. Hopefully you go and do the business, but it will be intriguing how it unfolds. Just staying
I
on
re-
the...
I realise I
Yep.
realise that I've not actually given a prediction of that. I did
Yeah.
predict the Rangers would beat Dundee United and they would also beat Brands, so I don't think anyone wants me to give my prediction at this stage. If I say they're going to win tomorrow, it's probably going to end up to each. So I'll
Yeah.
just keep stum at the minute and hope for the best.
Well, I said Rangers would beat Brand 3-1 the other night there, so I should also steer clear of predictions. Just staying on
Yeah.
the issue of Kilmarnock, you may have seen, folks, on Thursday, I think it was, that Sky have confirmed some fixture changes due to TV for December. Rangers taking on away to Dundee United Wednesday, December the 3rd, which is live on Premier Sports, kick off at 7:45. And check this, Saturday, December the 6th. Rangers go to Rugby Park, and the match will kick off at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. on a Saturday. Yeah. Thank you, Sky, for that one. Dreadful kick-off time, but there you go. It is what it is. Right, that will do us there. Big thank you to Blair, as ever. Thank you all for tuning in to this little Saturday briefing. Keep you going ahead of the game tomorrow. We'll have all your usual coverage from Ibrox pre-match and post-match, as we usually do. So make sure you're tuning in if you're not heading along to the game. Right, enjoy your Saturday, whatever you are up to, and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.